What's going guys, Zennosh here, and today I am bringing this video to you guys as a guide on how to 5th awaken a servant ASAP, or let's say how to attain 5th awakening really fast as suggested by Brian Matthew Lontok. I think he's a Filipino. Okay, so thanks to you bro. Now I'm actually gonna present this guide to everyone. So yes, 5th awakening a unit or a servant, especially DPS servant, is very important in this game guys, because it really provides a tons and tons of advantage to your servant, because it really does provide a huge humongous boost to their performance, okay, by increasing the stats and stuff like that. So let's look into the upgrade, and you can easily see their progression as the awakening goes on. Okay, on the first awakening, obviously the team passive will be unlocked. Okay, so team passive is pretty impressive guys. Like let's say Water Zeta, he provides a boost of 52% attack boost to entire water team. Isn't that amazing? 52% attack boost, that is insane. Okay, so team passive in most of the case is pretty amazing for the entire team. It's like a team leader skill, stuff like that. So please keep that in mind. Okay, so usually if you have a servant, you really need to take them to first awakening at least. Okay, first awakening is one of the most important phase of the awakening. Well, all of them are, but first awakening is very important indeed due to the team passive team passive stuff. Okay, and the second thing is guys, max skill level increased, base stat increased, and effect added, because these are the things that will really make your servant look good and also perform really well as well. Now let's move on to second awakening. Like why? Okay, it actually increases the base stats and the effect added. So people who actually are just enough with like first awakening, they really don't want to take it to the second awakening, because like second awakening really do not do much than compared to any other like awakening. So I believe that there should be done something with the second awakening to make it a little bit more attractive. Okay, because like second awakening, people really try to skip it as much as possible. Now when it comes to the third awakening guys, it's really one of the very important awakening stages as well, because necklace gear slot will be unlocked at this point, which will really provide you one additional extra gear where you can get a extra stats boost for your DPS servant or maybe your other classes of servant, that will really allow your team to perform really amazingly. Alright, so those are the things that you need to keep in mind. Necklace gear slot is unlocked, max skill level is increased, and base stats greatly increased. Yes, there's like sort of like skill level. Okay, so you can go into the skill and check it out. So I mean like usually there is sort of like a limitation to like up to what level you can upgrade your skill. Okay, and it's kind of limited per awakening level. Like let's say if you awaken them like gradually, you know, higher skill levels will be unlocked and you will be able to make your skills much interesting. Okay, and that is really worth it. So that is the thing. Now let's move on to the third awakening again, and the thing is that base stats greatly increased. That is pretty amazing as well, because like base stats are pretty amazing. What do you mean by base stats? First thing first guys, these are the things that are called the base stats. Okay, meaning like if you have a multiplier on your gears, the gears will multiply on the basis of your base stats. Meaning like more the base stat you have, the higher the the multiplier value will be. Okay, meaning like let's say if your base stat is like let's say 3, alright, instead of like 2, that means like you will get a very good multiplier. Like let's say 2 square, how much is it? 4, right? But 3 square is 9. There is a vast difference. Okay, like let's say 5 square is 25, right? But if you go with like 6 square, that is 36. Wow, that's a lot of difference, isn't it? Okay, so if you are improving the base stat, meaning like that 3, 4 or 5 value of the basic number, then your stats are gonna be affected humongously. Okay, so base stats, if you have any chance to improve your base stats, you should take it ASAP, because it's really gonna help you to improve your percentage boost, which I have been saying a lot of time. Let's say you are putting a lot of like gears that gives you a percentage boost of like like stat boost, like let's say this crit rate percentage boost, not this crit, like this attack percentage boost, guys. Okay, so if you have this attack percentage boost, it will depend upon like how much your base stat is. If you have lower base stat value, what's gonna happen is that like you are gonna get very low attack boost. Okay, but if you have just a slight increase in your base stat, your attack percentage boost is gonna get a humongous advantage, or let's say humongous bonus, okay, compared to just like other smaller values. So those are the thing. It might actually be a little bit complicated, but if you are a really good math pro, then obviously you should have got what I'm really trying to say. Now guys, when we are talking about like this fourth awakening, all right, now this is pretty important as well, because like at this point relation effect will be on use. Okay, so you might ask me like, what is a relation effect? Okay, so you can go into the skill, you can go into the passive skill. Okay, the passive skill, and this is the thing right out here. In the passive skill, the words written in, like the red words, okay, are the one that will show you or kind of defines what sort of relation effect they have. Like let's say for my fire a Sphinx, she will get a total of 100% attack boost if an Simon is present in the team. Okay, so there you go, guys. Like it's pretty amazing. Okay, meaning like as a DPS 7, she will have a higher attack boost right out there, obviously, which is gonna help her to dish out a massive damage output, isn't it? So please keep that in mind, guys. And relation effect is really amazing, guys. If you get them into the fourth awakening stage, it's gonna be a blast. So many classes of servants out there really enjoy different types of like relation effect. Please do check them out. You might actually enjoy checking them out and knowing and actually using them and implementing in the battles to gain extra advantage. Okay, so keep that in mind. Next thing is max skill level is increased and base stats greatly increased. The same thing that I have discussed before. The last and final thing is at the fifth awakening, guys, a ring gear slot is unlocked and max skill level increased, base stats greatly increased, and as you can see right over here, guys, ring gear slot is unlocked. Okay, finally the last gear set. Okay, this one. Okay, initially the 7 and 8 is like locked. Okay, you can unlock the 7th gear set at like third awakening, and the 8th gear can actually be unlocked at the 5th awakening. Okay, so 5th awakening is like the final stage of the awakening where you can actually enjoy all the gear sets. Okay, and guess what, guys, like for the major league gear sets, like let's say eruption gear set, okay, it needs 4 set, right? So like if you want to enjoy like 25% speed boost, you need to have a set of like 4 equipments of this eruption gear set. Thing is that like if you manage to actually unlock these 2 more, what's gonna happen is that like now you can equip 2 sets. Okay, 2 set. So that means like you will get a total of about like 50% speed boost, because you can now equip 2 sets of eruption gears. Now that actually makes it pretty damn awesome, guys. Like that's pretty good. That's what you would really want to have on your team, so that like you can actually like capitalize on that one. Okay, so please keep that in mind, just like this, guys. This is a one really good example. As you can see, my speed is boosted by over 50%. Okay, thanks to this this golden shiny gear slot. It's about like 27% right over here, which I'm gonna discuss maybe in another video. So those are the things, guys, that you should really keep in mind. Okay, so 5th awakening is pretty amazing, guys, because like it actually provides you a humongous damage output boost, because obviously the ring also really is sort of like gear that is like catered towards improving your damage output. Okay, now let's move on to our main topic, as we have already discussed why awakening is very important, right? Awakening is really important. And now let's move on to how to do the awakening. Okay, so first of all, guys, from moving from normal to the first awakening, it's pretty easy. All right, like you can easily get this kind of items from the awakening dungeons. First of all, okay, you can go to the awakening dungeons, which we can go through the world map, and after getting into the world map, you can get into right over here, the Awakening Dungeon. You can just click on this one right over here, and Awakening Dungeon, and you can actually farm right over here, guys. I mean, like, the flame dungeon is the one that is being available right now. Every day it's gonna be changing. Tomorrow it's gonna be a verdant dungeon, or let's say the forest element type dungeon, and the next one will be water dungeon, or let's say abysmal dungeon. Okay, so those are the things that you need to keep in mind. But guys, Heir of Light, okay, the developers have been so generous in providing us with all gears. I mean, like, all Awakening dungeons being available most of the time. Okay, this is actually a very rare moment to see that like only one dungeon is being available. Most of the time the developers really do provide all the Awakening dungeons available through the entire week, and I guess starting from tomorrow maybe they might actually make it available for everyone because of the occasion. Maybe, I'm not guaranteeing you guys. But those are the things that you can actually enjoy in the Heir of Light. And even if you keep on farming in the magic dungeon, there is actually a very good chance that you will get a random like elemental Awakening items, okay, even from the magic dungeon. Instead of just like, this greater magic stone, you can actually get greater flame Awakening stone, like that. Okay, so there is actually some chance for you to get like that one. So you can also keep on mashing out the magic dungeon right over here, floor after floor after floor. Okay, and the icons will also be a guide for you to actually understand like what type of item will actually draw frequently in this sort of like stages. Okay, so these are the thing, guys. Okay, so that's pretty great. Okay, and you can also keep on clearing out the maps tiles, okay, to get the star rewards. Okay, also in the star rewards you will get a sort of like a lot of like Awakening items right over here. Okay, like this. Okay, so you can get a tons of them from the star rewards, or you can actually go into the quest. Even in the quest you will actually be receiving a lots of Awakening items like that. It's a very high quality stuff, so I really do recommend beginners to do the quest ASAP, because this will also really help you to progress through the game really fast. Okay, so these are the really basic ways for you to get the Awakening items, and you will be able to unlock, or let's say awaken your servants really ASAP to the first Awakening stage. No problem at all. Just clear the world map tiles and like do some quest, and you will be ready to do, especially if you are a beginner. Okay, so those are the things that you need to keep in mind. And now let's move on to the second Awakening. Okay, so even for the second Awakening, it's pretty much the same stuff, the same process. The thing is that like compared to the first Awakening, the second Awakening will actually consume a little bit less resource. Okay, you can see right over here it consumes like 15 greater forest stone, whereas for the second Awakening stage it's actually only consuming like 10 greater forest stone. Okay, so those are the things that you can see right out there. And now let's move on to this third Awakening from the second Awakening. Now this is a very tricky part. Okay, now from this stage onwards, you will be requiring this very rare item indeed, known as the Supreme Forest Stone. Okay, or Supreme Awakening Stone for any other elements right out there. Now that is a very big problem. Okay, but there's actually an incentive, or there's actually a shortcut method for you to get from second Awakening to the third Awakening. Now this is an item that is pretty much very unique to this game only. Okay, this item will what it will actually do is that it will awaken your servant right away without needing any sort of awakening materials. So it's called instant awakening item. Okay, instant awakening item can awaken your servants from first stage to second stage, or second stage to third stage. And the best way to use this instant awakening item is when you are trying to awaken your servants from the second stage to the third stage. Okay, so please keep that in mind, guys. That is a very important piece of information that I'm actually giving to you, so that you can use your instant awakening items very effectively. Okay, so again, when you are awakening your servants from second Awakening to the third Awakening, please use instant awakening stones, because it's gonna save you a very good number of Supreme Awakening Stone. That's like 30 for the 5-star Nat Origin Servant, whereas only 10 for the 4-star Nat Origin Servant. Alright, so that is a little bit of difference right out there, but it's pretty worth it, guys, on how you do it. And you might now ask, how do I get instant awakening items? You can actually get a tons of them through events. Alright, most of the time events really do provide you with a chance to get instant awakening items, and also keep on logging in, guys. Sometimes there is a login rewards. Instant awakening items has been a very infamous item that has actually been awarded to many players. I mean, like, to all the players of Heir of Light by just checking in, okay, by just logging in. I think even for this Christmas, there is actually coming a login event that will actually provide us with a instant awakening item. So just be prepared for that one. And obviously, as I showed you before, you can exchange the instant awakening item for some honor points right away, and you will be able to get it 1 times per month. Okay. So that is another way to get the instant awakening item, and I think you can also get it from the guide as well. I'm not pretty much sure about it, but I think you can get it from the transcend guide as well, I guess. I am not really that sure though. Yes, right over here. Even from the transcend guide, you can get another instant awakening item. So this can actually be a very important piece of information, especially for the beginners, okay, whom I always really try to target. Okay, now let's move further. Let's move one step further. Okay, so when we are going to upgrade from the 3rd awakening to the 4th awakening, now this is a huge pressure for everyone, even for me or even for pro players, guys. Thing is that, like, now this is the place where it's gonna get really hard, because you really have to farm, okay, and the farming conditions are pretty bad as well. It's so hard, okay. It's so hard because, like, you really have to create such a team that you will be able to complete the awakening dungeons, 11th floor and 12th floor of the awakening dungeons. Alright, so that can actually put a humongous pressure, especially on the beginners. Like, how do I get to that 5th awakening? Because, like, farming is pretty insane. Now you have to go into the awakening dungeons like this one, and only the 11th floor and 12th floor will be the one to reward you with the supreme magic stone. Now there is actually another limitation as well. Thing is that, like, you can only enter like 1 time, but at a time it will actually provide you a total of like 6 supreme awakening stone. Okay, 6 supreme awakening stone per 1 battle entry, and it's a 100% chance of drop rate. Okay, so there is no sort of, like, you know, bingo stuff, or let's say, or RNG stuff, where you can get like any other sort of like other lesser type of awakening material till the 10th floor dungeon. But in 11th floor and 12th floor, it's a guaranteed stuff that you are gonna get 3 times, or like 6 times, 3 to 6 times of the supreme magic stone. Okay, so please keep that in mind. You can do one easily by using the valor. You can do another try by using carrots. Okay, that's the thing. 11th floor is pretty much easy for most of the time, whereas for the 12th floor, now that is the place where it's gonna get really hard, guys. Okay, 12th floor is pretty hard compared to 11th floor, and you might need a very better team in order to complete that one. And same goes with the flame dungeons as well. The thing is that, like, now the another thing over the, like, you know, the RBG light and dark LD RBG LD servants. Okay, for this kind of things, there will be a condition, like, let's say for flame dungeon or fire dungeon right out here, what's gonna ask is that, like, only the tanks will be the one that can enter the battle. Okay, so now that is a very big problem. You cannot get healers, you cannot get DPS servants, you cannot get supports. All needs to be a tank, and guess what, guys, on top of that one, all needs to have a CP of at least 7,000. Now that is also a really hard task, like, especially for the beginners. That's quite a hard task. Okay, so I have actually made several videos on how to do the awakening dungeons one by one. You can actually check them out. Okay, so please do check them out, and maybe that guide might actually be pretty helpful for you in order to, like, you know, creating a team, and then again doing, you know, the awakening dungeons ASAP. You can also check out the comment sections in order to you know, gain more extra knowledge, because, like, obviously I'm not like all-knower stuff like that. There are like some experts out there who keeps on commenting in the comments, and they are like, how about you try this one, how about you try that one, so that like it improves the quality of the game. All right, so those are the things that you need to keep in mind, guys. Okay, so that is one thing. And that actually makes it very hard for you guys to actually get these Supreme Awakening Stones. And now the problem is like how to create the team, guys. Should you really go for the 5-star Nat Servants? I would actually say please go and start with the 4-star Nat Servants. Okay, now you may ask why. Okay, why not 5-star Nat Servants, but why should I go with the 4-star Nat Servants even if I have 5-star Nat Servants? Okay, yes, even if you have 5-star Nat Servants, like let's say you have 5 tanks right out there, instead of going with your 5-star Nat Servants, why should you go with the 4-star Nat Servants as a beginner? Okay, because this is the main reason why. First of all, guys, okay, first of all, just look at the difference. Okay, so when you are actually trying to awaken a 5-star Nat Servant, what's really gonna happen is that like they will demand a lot of Supreme Awakening Stone. Like now let's do the math. Okay, first of all, 3rd Awakening stage, it will demand you of 30 Supreme Awakening Stone. Okay, and 4th Awakening, it's gonna demand you 60, and 5th Awakening, it's gonna demand you 90. That's a total of 180. Yes, 180 Supreme Awakening Stone. That's freaking insane. Okay, that's freaking insane to farm. Okay, it can actually take you a very long period of time, which can actually be a very disheartening stuff right out there. I mean, like it will actually, you know, dishearten so many people out there right away. But if you are going to focus on a 4-star Nat Servant, what's really gonna happen is that like let's look into this. 3rd Awakening stage is only gonna require you 10 Supreme Awakening Stone, right? And when you are going for the 4th Awakening stage, it's only asking you for 20 Supreme Awakening Stone, and the 5th Awakening is just asking you 30. That's a total of 60. Okay, 180 versus 60. Okay, I mean like if you can just I'm like with the Supreme Awakening Stones that you require in order to awaken your 5-star Nat Servant, with that quantity you can actually awaken 3 of your other 4-star Nat Servants, okay, to the 5th Awakening. So guys, there you go. Meaning like it's about being efficient, really fast and clever while you are being a beginner, so that at least you can complete this like this very hard task ASAP as a beginner. Okay, once you have created a very good, very sustainable team of 4-star Nat Servants, like 4-star Nat like how to say this, tanks, like let's say Fire Executioner, Water Executioner, what do you call that, Usher, Fire Usher, like those kind of thing, right? If you can just get those team up with really nice people out, the servant out there, they are really gonna help you to farm this 11th floor and 12th floor really fast. And there comes another advantage with the 4-star Nat Servants as well. As you can actually see that like getting 5-star Nat Servants is damn freaking hard in this game, okay? But still, events are making it very easy to attain them as well. So but you know, like events actually come like once a month. There are like about like 2 to 3 events per month. So maybe at max you will be getting like 2 to 3 5-star Nat Servants every month. Okay, so that is the thing. But still, guys, it's gonna actually take some time. I mean, like as a beginner, like are you really willing to wait for like 1, 3, 4, maybe 5 or maybe 6 months in order to do that 11th floor and 12th floor? I guess not. I mean, like as soon as you start the game, you might want to think about like how in the world should I do that 11th floor and 12th floor, isn't it? Okay, so in that case of scenario, 4-star Nat actually presents out to be a very good choice. Okay, and you may ask again like why? Okay, so let's look into that one. So 4-star Nat Servants, guys, 4-star Nat Servants right out there are also very easy to transcend. Okay, now transcending is a another good factor as well in the game, which is very much required by your DPS servants in order to get the very big stat boost indeed. And you might ask like why should I transcend? Okay, So let's look into a 5-star Nat Servant and let's see what sort of like, how to say this, advantage they are actually gonna gain through the transcendence. Okay, so let's get into the upgrade. Let's get into transcend, and look at that, guys. Second transcendence increase their base stats right away. These are base stats, guys, base stats. Okay, so your servants are gonna get a very humongous sort of like CP advantage right off the bat. Usually like a CP ranging from like 5,000 to 10,000 CP boost in just one transcendence. That's how great it is. Okay, with this type of stats, guys, it will be very easy for you to play competitively even in the hard mode battles. Okay, so just look at that, guys. Every awakening, guys, every transcendence, you are gonna get huge stat boost, especially at the ultimate, or let's say the final transcendence, that is the 5th transcendence, guys. You are gonna get some extra additional, like stat boost. That is like, let's say for in this case of scenario, that's a 40% critical damage increase, which is pretty insane, guys. Okay, so every servant has a sort of like a very good boost waiting out there in the ultimate transcendence. So try to ultimate transcend your servants ASAP, and this is ultimately gonna help you in the awakening dungeons as well. And it's gonna be pretty easy for your 4-star Nat servants because like it's very easy to get their copies, guys. Yes, whenever you are doing like 10 times summon, usually, guys, like 99.99% time, you are guaranteed to have like one 4-star Nat serving, guys. Okay, when you are doing like 10 times summon at a time, that's the thing right out there. And the another thing is that like you can even like farm them very easily, and the best way to get the 4-star Nat services, guys, is through fusion. Okay, so guys, just try to keep on doing fusions over and over again. Do the fodder farming most of the time, and through the fusions you will be getting a tons of 4-star Nat servants just like that, even the service that you really do require. Okay, fusion, I mean, like I really created a lot of fusions videos and even the fusion guide videos on how to do it really nicely, and what sort of rewards does really wait for you when you are actually fusing. Okay, so those are the things that you need to keep in mind, guys, and it's gonna be a really great journey for you. Okay, so whenever you are fusing, there's a very slight chance for you guys to actually get a servant of higher grade. Okay, so that is the thing, that is the possibility right out there. I mean, like if you are fusing a 4-star Nat servant, there is a very good chance that you will be getting a 5-star Nat servant out there. Okay, so I mean, like, can you see the possibility right out there? So that is the thing, guys. I mean, like while you are actually trying to get your 4-star Nat copy, which is pretty easy, okay, you might actually also end up getting a 5-star Nat summon as well. So just enjoy the fusion summon. Okay, and you will be getting a lot of your 4-star Nat summon copies. Just transcend them, and once you transcend them, guys, you will be getting a T5A5, meaning Transcendence level 5, Awakening level 5 unit ASAP with your 4-star Nat servants, and that's actually gonna really help you to make a very good progression in your game, especially as a beginner. And this is the way how you are supposed to clear the 11th floor and 12th floor dungeons ASAP. Well, I did my own share of mistake because like I just only resorted to 5-star Nat servants to do the shit for me, okay, which was a very big mistake. Instead of this one, if I had only chosen my like 4-star Nat servants, then I could have done it like a long way back. Okay, so once you have already attained a very good team that you can do 11th floor and 12th floor, then what? Okay, so do it every day, every freaking day. And guess what, guys, the quality of life has been recently improved in Airflight, which really allows you to automatically clear all the dungeons, all the awakening dungeons in just one click. Okay, all you need to do is go into the view settings in the repeat battle function of any awakening dungeon and just check mark the 11th floor and the 12th floor that you can do without doing some manual inputs. Okay, auto mode, everything will be on auto mode. Okay, so make sure that you can actually do that in the auto mode, and once you can do it, just check it out. And what's gonna happen is that like boom, one click and you will be able to farm all of them. Just enjoy your cup of tea, or maybe go outside, do some jogging, come back, you will see that like everything will be done, everything is right in front of your eyes. Now this is a very high quality of life, guys. It's really allowing you to get the items without actually being involved in the game all the time, okay? So you are actually able to like play this game on sidewards while you are actually doing some other shit, or let's say other works that you really might need to accomplish, okay? And a tip right over here is that, guys, don't check into those floors which you cannot auto, okay? Now that is the thing. Maybe you could do actually in manual, especially the water dungeon, okay? You might actually be able to do in manual, but when it comes to auto, you might actually fail it. So in that case, what's really gonna happen is that, guys, if you die during the battle, the whole thing is gonna be reset, okay? The whole thing is actually gonna just end up right out there. You know, like, now that is a problem, meaning like, let's say you are stuck in this floor, you died in this floor, obviously you won't be able to finish the verdant dungeon right out here, this light dungeon, or this dark dungeon, okay, this radiant dungeon. So those are the things that you might actually need to consider, okay? So make sure you only click or check mark on those awakening dungeons that you can actually do, or else, you know, like, some of the dungeons might not be cleared because you just died in the middle of the battle, okay? So keep that in mind, guys, and just uncheck them, and when you are done with them, and then you can go again with the manual mode, okay? Because there is no any other option that says like, okay, revive upon death, you know, like, just keep on continuing even if you are dead. There is no such option right out here, so it still needs a little bit of improvement, but it will come, I guess. And now when we are talking about the repeat battle function mode, okay, now this is a very crucial thing as well. These are the only two things that you really need to check. Go on expeditions for all awakening dungeons 11 and higher, that you really need to check as well, okay? This because this is the expedition condition. If you do not check this one, then you know, like, it will not trigger, okay? So keep that in mind. And the next thing is that, like, don't check this one, repeat battle ends when the servant reaches the max level, because you really don't want that to happen. This is very, very stupid indeed. The third one is continue repeat battle even upon defeat. Please try to check that one as well. It only applies for the 1 to the 10th floor dungeon, okay? Not for the other dungeons. And the next thing is repeat battle ends upon discovering a mystery dungeon, which is also a bullshit. Please don't check that one as well. Mystery dungeons are very low tier type of dungeons which only provide you a 3-star Nat Servant shards, okay, not a drop, a shard, okay? So you need to farm like, I think, 40 shards for each 3-star Nat Servant. So that is a very lengthy process and lengthy issue. Don't check this one, okay? And use carrots to continue. It's only available when you are supposed to use the carrots, okay? I mean, like, usually I don't even do that. Next thing is, you can just go into the view and just to see the summary, like how your repeat battle is actually gonna go, okay? So those are the basic rules of the repeat battle. And now, after talking all of that one, you are really able to do it. You are already able to get a lot of Supreme Awakening Stones. Congratulations, okay? Another thing that I would really, you know, like, get your attention is that, like, every day, on daily basis, guys, on daily basis, whatever the RBZLD dungeons are gonna be open, the corresponding awakening item will be provided to you as a reward right away as soon as you do any sort of dungeon stages. Alright, just see at the criteria. Clear awakening material dungeon, flame dungeon just one time, okay? You can just even complete like first floor or second floor. Please try to get this reward ASAP as soon as the clock hits the new day, okay? Every day it's gonna be refreshed, and please get that one ASAP, because this is the one that is actually gonna help you a lot. I mean, like, it's gonna stack up, guys. It's gonna stack up. Instead of getting like 6 every day, you are actually getting like 9 every day, right? Isn't that amazing? Instead of 6, you are getting 9. So I mean, like, that's just grab it, okay? And on the weekly missions, guys, okay, you are able to get like 10 this Supreme Magic Stone every week if you are able to clear the Awakening Material Dungeon, Magic Dungeon, okay, the Magic Dungeon only 10 times, okay? So even if you do like first floor, second floor, third floor, it still counts, okay? So just do it for like 10 freaking times and you will be able to get this Supreme Magic Stone right off the bat. How easy that sounds, okay? That's pretty easy, isn't it? So please do it, and yes, it's actually gonna really contribute towards your long run, okay? Long run farming, it's really gonna help you a lot. Now finally, again, coming back to my original point, Now you already have a lot of Supreme Awakening stones stored in your stash. Now how do you use them properly? Okay, how to use them properly. Now that is also a very big issue as well. Supreme Awakening stones, please try to use them only on your DPS servant. Okay, first of all, as a beginner, you should only focus on your DPS servant. Okay, because DPS servants are the sort of like bread earner in your game. They are the one who are gonna give you the high scores. They are actually gonna be the one to provide you the chance or the opportunity to gain various rewards, let's say from PvP or maybe from the PvE contents stuff and that stuff like that. With every awakening, your DPS servant is gonna get better and better and stronger. That's gonna make your team very good, because like the best offense is the best defense, isn't it? Okay, and now you may ask, like, after DPS servants, what then? Whom to actually focus on? For me, I would say that would be the support servants. Okay, usually support servants also do provide a very good passive on their 4th awakening to provide a massive damage boost against the raid bosses. Okay, and that is also pretty good, and you can actually awaken them to the 4th awakening, and that's gonna be really pretty great as well, because like at the 3rd awakening, guys, their like third gear, their 5th gear slot, that is necklace, will be unlocked, because the necklace is the gear slot that will actually provide you with a speed stat boost. Okay, speed stat boost is pretty important for the support servants, and they are the one that is really gonna provide you with a lot of buffs and debuffs. Okay, and that's gonna really affect your performance rating. I mean, like with their buffs, you can actually deal some extra damage output that is gonna just make a big smile on your face. Okay, so those are the things. And after the this supports, then you can go with the tank, and finally you can go with the healers. Okay, or you can also go with the healers, because healers provides a debuff, or let's say a sort of like downgrade for the raid bosses to have their attack decreased by 90%. So that is pretty good as well. On their 4th awakening, they will make the certain raid bosses to lose their attack by 90%. So if you are really trying to gain a very high score, or maybe to claim a lot of rewards from the boss raid, which is pretty amazing, in that case of scenario, like you can actually prioritize your healers a little bit more compared to your tank. So between tank and healers, it's really up to you. But first come first, guys. DPS servants needs to be your main priority, and then support, and then your healer, and then your tank. Okay, so it's really up to you on how you really want to take your game out. Obviously, it's your own personal game. Do your own revelation. You might get your own revelation on how things should be done. Okay, if you have better ideas, let me know in the comment section below. I would really be happy to announce it to everyone again. And I mean like, this is for a very long game run. Every player should be able to enjoy the benefit of one's knowledge, right? So let me know in the comment section below, guys. If I have left out any like contents in this video which I should have actually mentioned in this video, please let me in the comment section below as well. I would really love to focus on that one as well. And this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to keep on enjoying the contents of my channel. See you guys in the next video.